parents.
Yeah.
My father was born in 1915, and his parents were slaves. Well, his grandparents were slaves. So what I've learned is it's not your mother's fault, it's not your father's fault, it's not your fault. We were born into 450 years of post-slavery PTSD. I am 69, I'll be 70 in March. I've just learned how to love. Our parents didn't know how to love. Their parents didn't know how to love.
Yo, dude right here, listen, Beloved probably has one of the most. I don't know. Like, does that role ruin his like his chances at like higher profile roles? Because he's known for being. I think his name was Little Murder from a show called P Valley, and his role was being the local famous rapper that was secretly into like trans women, and the trans woman that he was into wasn't like really like a trans woman at all. It's just nigga in the wig. It's basically just this big gay nigga that he be stroking on the low, that he's really happy to be with. So that's the character he's known for. That's not gonna be the role that he always known for. It's a lot of suspect shit going on at the table. You know what I mean? And not only that, bigger than anything, right? Pause. Clifton Powell just was not equipped. He just was not the person to have up there. Because in this conversation, when he's doing this, he's doing the whole, how can I say? Kind of like declaring how much of a mess he is and how much of a work in progress he is. Don't get me wrong, it's nothing wrong with being honest when the time calls for it, right? But it's like everyone is having this conversation of like, hey man, I ain't really perfect, you know. And again, there's nothing wrong with not being perfect, but it's just like it's a weird way to come into a conversation. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'll let this play.
And if I could say anybody maybe had an edge, it was the women. That's why I celebrate Black women. I live with a psychiatrist, forensics detective, gangster, loving Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, who's just been patient with me to teach me how to love. But in close,
it's like mad signs. Is it possible to be all that at one time? Can you be all those things at one time? You said Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. I don't think. All right. The more I'm watching, I'm realizing, bro, you a messy nigga, bro. It's a messy dude.
You know why you ain't shit?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
on this because I don't want to get too deep.
Pause.
I called my buddy, man. I said, I'm fucking up, bro. Really bad. I'm fucking up. So I never been monogamous. So I don't fucking know
what age did you become a monogamous?
Today.
Nigga said today. That's really what I wanted to get to. I wanted to get to him saying that.
That was a good line. Clifton Powell, 69 going on 70. Going on 70 is saying that he's just now learning how to love. And he's now with a woman that has been patient with him. And he is now finding himself in that woman and learning how to love, especially considering the more than 400 years of slavery where we didn't know how to love. All right. What are y'all thoughts?
Sorry for that woman.
On Clifton Powell.
Anton, that's a setup.
You know what? At first, but don't get me wrong. A few things can be true at one time. I would just randomly play this and everything. We don't need to say it. I'm gonna get back on screen. I just randomly played that because I just found that on the channel. So I thought we could add that clip again so we can have more of, how can I say, more context and whatnot. I'm starting to realize, you know what? You is a messy nigga, Clifton Powell. Nigga said, I became monogamous today. I guess you know what? I've been proven wrong. All right, because before I was saying that, and this still stands. Like everything you saying sounds vague. Like nothing he said made sense. Like you were communicating. This is how women be talking. So all right, you said yes. I got a woman who's been very patient with me. What have you been doing that requires patience, right? And like I said before in the previous video, when he says, I just learned how to love at 70, right? That could mean anything. Because everything that he's been saying is things that can be open to interpretation, aside from the monogamy thing. So I guess he really is picky. But I may have an unpopular opinion. A little bit of that, as light skinned dude, you know what I'm going to say. A little bit of that is probably dark skin privilege. And this is another aspect of dark skin privilege too. Is when like dark skin dudes are really emotional. Because that's another reason why the situation like went up so quick is because dark skinned dudes get really emotional. And also dudes who have an issue with being monogamous are usually emotional because it usually revolves around them being like really impulsive, right? Because I always say any kind of creative, if you're a creative, like in any way, most of the time, in order for you to be a successful creative, in order for you to really get anywhere with what you're doing, you had to be a little bit crazy. All right, gotta be a little bit out there a lot of times. But seriously though, you'll see that with most talented people have a lot of like quirks or idiosyncrasies or weird things about them and whatnot. And not only that, like I said before, this conversation, what you see on full display, is how niggas will get together to have a conversation. And this is how niggas be having conversations and be dead ass, where they will mostly say a series of things that sound halfway true.
You know why you ain't shit?
You know what I'm saying? They'll say a series of things that's like half.
You know why you ain't shit?
That sound halfway true. That's my new soundbite.
Fuck your birthday.
Fuck your birthday, nigga. Like I was telling y'all before, and I've had like several conversations, right? Black folks have a huge problem with, and it's mostly with men. It's mostly like black men in general are super uncomfortable with authority, right? And being in leadership. And I think about this a lot more after I heard CGA he phrased it this way when he said, after the whole thing with the Michigan coach, he was talking about how like a lot of black men are not ready to be in high levels of leadership and what that actually means. And that's a conversation to be had. Because again, if you say to a man, hey, if you have a family, you're supposed to be the head of the household. You're supposed to be the man. It's supposed to be a situation where what you say goes. I'm like, unless you're a villain, we're not in a Marvel movie. We're not in a DC movie. I don't believe you to be a villain. Now, Clifton Powell, I don't know, maybe, maybe, but my other statement still stands about when he says, I just learned how to love. Like, he wasn't specific about nothing. That's the same as me coming to y'all saying, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. It's been bad. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I'm going to take the first steps today. Right now, I'm taking those first steps today, and every step I take is going to bring me closer to that place. That's how he having the whole conversation. Like you hear how I didn't say anything. You hear how you did not learn anything, but it sounds emotional. And this is another reason why it's unsafe for men to delve too deeply into emotional spaces and getting emotional and bearing your soul, because they trying to do this whole soul bearing thing and this whole being overly honest thing, and then you get to a point where you lose decorum and you stop having good intentions. And I don't know, maybe these dudes on there ain't got no friends, and maybe it's the first time they've ever had a conversation like this. But then again, you know what I realized too? If this is an honest conversation they having, then this really exposes how far behind a lot of us still are in terms of being what they call game goofy, in terms of how we see the world. Like, for example, one of the things, at least for me, this is how I saw the era of Kevin Samuels. What I learned most from watching Kevin Samuels and say Anton Daniels is that I learned how to think more objectively, and I learned how much my emotions play a factor in how I look at things. By the time I started watching them, I started to be more in tune with what's basically being more observant, being more honest, calling things what they are, right? And also having more foresight. As I began to have more foresight, my decision making improved. Another thing that I do is I have this brain game called Elevate that I do. So they give you like a workout every day. It's like a series of brain games, and what that does is keep me in the mindset of making logical decisions. But anyway, as I became more and more logical, by the time I saw their content, I was more ready for it. Like, you know, one of the things that helped me lose weight is when he would ask women how much they weigh, and they would say, I'm 250 pounds, 260 pounds. And he's like, ma'am, you weigh more than a man. He like, ma'am, you weigh as much as a linebacker in the NFL. And that's such a genius observation, because I mean, it is true, right? And then when he would go over this weight thing, it brought me more in tune with the fact I'm like, damn, you know, if the average weight of the average male in this country is 168 pounds, that's the median weight, and I weigh this much, I'm like, God damn, that bro, you weigh more than 100 pounds more than the average male. We weigh 100 pounds more than the average male at this point. And no, I actually weigh more than 100 pounds. Actually, I was 100. By the time I was listening to Kevin Samuels, I was maybe 3. I think when I came down, I was like 314. So I probably was like 325, 330 at some point. By the time I came down and got to my first apartment, I was like 314. And then from there, I lost like 20 more pounds, right? But hearing people have objective conversations had that influence on me. And I realized that when it comes, even for example, when people talk about Donald Trump and everything, don't get me wrong, some people actually do their research and they'll give you a concrete reason, and which is fine. I'm not really here to advocate for no one. What always bothers me is how much people are obsessed with this person, and they make it to where, because we're not in the same political party, I'm going to look at everything you do as evil or there's an ulterior motive. Like I always say, it's like if Democrats and liberals have this mindset like they're actually in a Marvel movie, they're actually in a DC movie, where there are people who are written in a way where everything they do and whatever they do, it has to be evil, it has to be bad, it has. You know what I'm saying? That's only in movies where everything that person does is a front. Everything that person does is for some evil